All right, guys, welcome back to H2H, week number 16 here in the NFL. H2H is the show that me and Tasos battle it out each and every week, giving you guys our best plays depending on what the wheel tells us to do each and every week here. And yeah, the best man comes out on top. Last week, I finally was the best man here. I'm now 5-10 on the season, so Tasos can't get too high. I'm still, way behind you. There's still enough time for me to potentially win this thing, maybe, but I can only lose one more week from now until the Super Bowl. But how are you feeling? We both went 3-1 last week, which is pretty good, but you don't even have to really own your loss, right? That was the fade me round. So you technically, in the picks that you gave, you swept again, but 3-1 on the final record. It is what it is. I hit 2+ money plays, so maybe I can get a little high. But how you doing?
I'm doing all right. So again, it's tough to be upset about it because I did go 3-1. I am on an 18-6 run on the show right now. I am absolutely red hot. So it's tough to kind of sit here and say, oh, woe is me. I'm 10-5 on the show. Overall against you in the head-to-head. There's not really much I can say other than I am noticing some trends that worry me a little bit because the path for you to win is there. So I did a little deep diving because it's been rare that you win this year. So I tried to see if are there any patterns in you winning this year, and there are
it can't
two
be too long.
ones.
It can't be too long of a deep dive.
No, it wasn't a very. It was like I spent like 20 minutes
wins.
on it maybe. This is our third time this season recording in the morning. You are 2-0 on morning recordings, so it almost feels like you found my weakness, which is mornings. And
I didn't even know
I'm a little groggy, so I think you found my weakness there. Although I did go 3-1, so it's not like I still didn't pick good picks.
True.
And also, when you do 2 or more plus money plays, you're 3-0 this season.
Oh yeah, I think I said that last week. Right? I was like, I have to start pulling the trigger on these because you have been. I mean, we can give flowers, right? Like you've been Mr. Consistent. Your worst. I mean, you've had some bad weeks, but your casual worst week is 2-2. Meaning that I have to go 75% to even and hit that. And the way this show is formatted, that our last pick, half the time we don't even get to choose it because you're picking the opposite, right? So it is this plus money strategy. When I'm not Mr. Consistent on the show, you are. The plus money kind of has to be there. So I've factored that in this week too. But I didn't realize 3-0 there and 2-0 in the morning. So I'm glad that I requested this one in the morning now that we talk about it.
So there are some interesting trends when it comes to you. So so we got another morning recording. I don't know what you got for plays today, but because it is the strategy is not bad because honestly, again, look at last week. I could go 3-1, but if you're throwing out all these, because I don't play as many plus money plays, you go 2-2 on a plus money. It's a units game. It's not a record game. It's a units game.
Exactly.
So 1-3 realistically if you hit that plus money, and it just beats me out. So it's a good strategy for you. I think especially in the spot that you're in, I kind of respect it. So I don't know if you got that in the playbook today, but
yeah, I'll say this. I got a little bit in the playbook today, so we shall see. But guys, I want to say before we jump into the episode, thank you very much for all the new subscribers, new likes. Last week's show was our highest H2H show this season, so it's crazy to me, Tasos, that we're in week 15 and the show's growing, which you'd think it has its early bump, and then it's great that we're able to continue to do it, and I think that people are appreciating it more and more. So that's at least what the numbers are telling us. So thank you guys to everyone that has hit that subscribe button. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit it. Tasos has a lofty goal of us hitting 45,000 subscribers by the new year. We're 1,200-ish away right now, which I called him crazy last week, but it's really not looking all that crazy. I don't know if we get there. I still don't think we get there, Tasos. But the people have been psycho. People have been pretty psycho
11
about
days
this.
left to see. That's about what? It's lofty. It's definitely lofty. That's 120 new subscribers a day on average we need to get there. But
which is crazy.
Listen,
but
anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Just since August, I feel like we've gone up over 10,000 subscribers easily since August. So it's we've been growing at a really high rate. I don't think 1,200 in 12 days or 11 days is totally unrealistic. Comment Team Tasso right now if you're watching the video right now. If you're
or Team
Ev,
if you already
subscribed, comment Team Tasso. Let's get I want Ev to see that his people have turned on him because everybody at the beginning of the year,
we got comments from Team Ev last week.
The year was Team Ev. Everybody at the
comments
beginning of
for
the year was
Team
Team Ev. Everybody, week 1, I remember you would sit comment, everyone's like, Team Ev, Team Ev, Team Ev. I want to see now. I want to see the people, if they're still rocking with you, or they finally jumped ship. I want to see.
You gotta. You gotta. No other man owns his losses more. But all right, let's jump into the wheel, guys. If you don't know how this show works, like I said, we give our best picks, or try to, but we don't get to choose exactly what types of bets we're rolling with. That's what makes this show unique. It's what distinguishes it. We spin a wheel. So first off, you'll see a wheel here that has our names on it. This is going to dictate the draft order. Whoever this lands on, we'll pick first, and then it's a snake draft from there. And then we'll pop up a second wheel with the lane of bets, bet type, player prop, over, under, total, spread, that type of thing. So let's go ahead and spin this, Tasso. I don't really care if I go first. I think this wheel has started to either... the fade me wheel is the one that I care about. This one's been kind of like whatever. But, all right, let's go ahead and spin this one here. And it is Tasos. All right, Tasso, you are drafting first. Now let's pop up the second wheel so we can know what type of bet we're rolling with. Let's spin it. We got a bunch on the wheel today. Anything actually before we spin it that you're eyeing? Last week we had a bunch of Thursday night football.
Why you ask me that?
I know the world's your oyster.
Why you ask me that, Ev? You know the world is my oyster. I'll be honest. Like I went 2-0 on my Thursday picks last week. I really don't want a Thursday pick this week.
Speaking of that, that's a good call. So we got a nice recommendation from Brett in the comments. And guys, if you have any constructive criticism or anything for the show, not criticism, constructive criticism for the show, make sure to drop it in the comments. We got one from Brett last week. Tasos and I got handicapped by a bunch of Thursday night picks. And now, Tasso, yeah, you went 2-0, but we didn't want to even have those picks, right? So he was like, hey, once something lands on the wheel, like maybe it's fair for it to not be in the wheel the next spin. Totally valid point. So we're going to try that this week. There is only one Thursday night football slip in this wheel. So, if we do land on it, it gets removed and we won't have two. So pretty good idea. So we'll implement that bad boy. But, yeah, let's go ahead and spin this, Tasso.
Yeah, that's it. Everything else, and even if I get Thursday, I'll take it. But it's definitely not what I'm looking for.
All right, looks like we're gonna land.
And we're gonna get
a spread.
Spread.
You know what? I like starting off with the little, the classic bread and butter type spot here. So I'm also gonna remove this. Nice. Now the spread's off the wheel, but we have more spreads on there, so that's the only risk we run. It's like less of a chance to hit, but sometimes we have multiple slices. But go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, I do like that. Was a good recommendation, though. I do like that because it could save us from another fiasco like last week.
If we had all three picks Thursday Night Football, that'd be brutal.
You know what? And for a second last week when you were spinning the wheel, I thought we were going to get 3. I really did. There's a lot of great games this week. A lot of good options. I actually have 6 spreads that I really like. I'm going to go. See, the thing is, my strategy here is that I'm waiting for the wheel to spin my way a couple more times. But I have 2 picks that I'm really horny about.
Okay.
Do I really want to shoot my load right off? You know what? I'm going to go with this one. Monday Night Football, Christmas night game, the game of the week, the game of the season. Dude, San Francisco 49ers -5. I mean, I cannot be more confident in a pick in it's up there as one of my most confident picks of the year. You guys watch my other videos, I'm not the biggest Baltimore Ravens guy. I have been hating on them, even though I bet on them quite a bit. I have been hating on them all season. I think this is might be the most fraudulent team next to the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL. They don't win games impressively. They're offensively, they are a mess. Defensively, they're solid, and that's their biggest strength. But even on defense, they got a lot of injuries. They got a lot of inconsistent play sometimes. They have not played a team that is and to be fair, this is because of how the NFL is this year. There really aren't that many solidly good teams, but their schedule's kind of been cupcake. And I think this is the first time this season that the Ravens are really going to be tested by a real, true powerhouse team. I think they're going to get smoked here. I think -5 is generous. The Niners are a juggernaut. They are the best team in the NFL when healthy, and they are healthy coming into this one. So I don't see how the Ravens win this game. I've seen some people Lamar Jackson's putting up MVP type numbers. Dude, I watch him every week because like I said, I try to back up my hate. and I do my research. I watch the games, dude. I don't know how you look at Lamar Jackson and say this guy's an MVP. Like that game against the Jaguars defense, their pass defense has been one of the worst in the NFL for the last like 2 months. Jake Browning went off for them. Like backup quarterbacks have been putting up numbers on that Ravens defense.
Yep.
I mean, sorry, that Jaguars defense. Yep. Dude, Lamar looked like he struggled out there against them. Like his numbers were not impressive. They didn't win that game because the Ravens were so good. They won that game because the Jaguars gave it to them. The Jaguars, that game was a 3-point game going into the fourth quarter, and a game where the Jaguars missed 2 field goals and like kept shooting themselves in the foot. Baltimore, honestly, there's a real chance they could have and maybe should have lost that game. But I'm just looking at the line, like 14 for 24, 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 76.9 quarterback rating. Like, that's an MVP player against one of the worst pass defenses we have seen consistently. Quarterback, and it doesn't matter if they're good quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks. Teams have been going. Joe Flacco the week before went for 311 yards and 3 touchdowns. And like I'm just kind of like I can't wait for this bubble to burst because and people in the comments have given it to me and fair point. They said call me a Ravens hater. I'm not shying away from it. I am a Ravens hater, but it's because I don't like teams like this that like they're so overhyped and they're like, oh, you know, give them their credit. And it's like I'm not saying they're not a good team, but like some people are going a little too far with it. And like if you actually watch them, they're not that good of a team. I think like if they go in like Kansas City, I think could easily smoke them. I think Buffalo could smoke them. I think Miami could do some damage to them. I just don't believe in this team. So that's my Ravens rant. So give me Niners -5. I think they have like the thing with the Niners is that you're not going to be able to get away with Lamar running 14 times against this Niners defense. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's like he's going to have to sit in the pocket and make those throws, and I don't think he can. So that's my rant on the Ravens. Give me Niners -2.
I can't hate on it. I knew right when you said Christmas game. I knew right where you were going. It seems like, and I almost will say this as a negative towards the pick, right? It's kind of the only thing that I have is that I have a feeling everyone thinks that, right? Like you have to think that this is a team that the Niners have just shown that they are literally just superior this season, whereas the Ravens have caused some doubts. But I mean, talk about a perfect storm. It's Christmas. Niners are at home. Like this should be a Niners game all day long. I would play this up to 6.5, right? Like I think they win. Obviously, You two are clearly big on that, like winning this game by a decent amount. The one thing that I'll say is that, like, again, if it's too public of a pick and Vegas isn't going to move that line too much, it's kind of like, do they think this is going to be a better game than it is? But Tasos, like, worth taking that chance. Like this, you're betting on the best team in a spot where that number, you couldn't really get a better number. Like that number, you could win by 2 field goals. You don't need to win by the touchdown. You know what I mean? So I can't knock it. I know that
I'm looking at the money spreads right now. 59% of the bets from the public are on the Niners. 58% of the money from the public's on the Niners. So it is the majority, but not like much. 41% of the bets are on Baltimore.
No, I'll tell you, that's like a sweet spot. That's a good. That's not like an overwhelming. That's a good smart money on San Francisco, but not overwhelmingly to make the book spaz out.
I almost did something, Ev. I almost pulled your trick, and I almost went Alti Tasso. I almost took Niners -9.5.
Oh, interesting.
I was this close. I was this close, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna take that kind of a chance. We're gonna get what the public gave us. We're gonna take the -5. But I haven't pulled Alti Tasso at all this year. Almost brought him out for this game. So, I think the Niners kill them.
They're just, it's almost like and we've said this on the show before about other games. It's almost a spot of like anything you can do, I could do better. And the Niners do have pretty much every lane, pass defense, rush defense, pass offense, rush offense. So I like the spot. I'm actually going Alti Ev here, but not for plus money, which is weird. So it's not really, doing, I'm trying to get a little bit safe here. And I think that this is I'm also looking at Christmas Day game to be in fact, so we could have one of our holidays could be ruined again, but I'm gonna be looking at the Eagles here -9.5 alternate spread over the Giants. It's -150. Tasos, that's a juicy pick, but when teams are low, you gotta buy low on them, and people are low on the Eagles. I think that this is a spot where I almost went Altiev to the other side of things, but I just couldn't do it. So Eagles -9.5. I think that they bounce back in a big way.
1.5, because I do think like everybody's down on them. They've lost 3 bad games in a row. Everything screams Eagles here. Mm-hmm. And the Giants, they're without the Italian Stallion. Looks like he's out. So I don't remember who came in for Tommy DeVito in that game. I don't even remember who. Well, I don't think it was Tyrod Taylor, unless it was. I'm not 100% sure who came in. Either way, it doesn't matter. I think the Eagles roll here. I think everyone's down on them. This is like the soft spot of their schedule. They play the Giants 2 of their last 3 games, and then they have the Cardinals in between. They're going to go out, and they're going to close out strong. They're going to win these last 3 games. They've had a rough, like, everyone's, like, down on them, and rightfully so. Like I said, the Eagles, they're on a rough go of it. But their last 3 games, Niners, Cowboys, and I know Seattle, they're not exactly a juggernaut, but, like, they are 7-7, and they have been playing really well against good teams. Like, they dropped 35 points on Dallas. Like, they kept those games close. So, and even, like, the Niners game.
Yeah. You can go back even further. Go back before that first that Niners game. They went Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo before that. Like, they've had a ridiculous gauntlet. This is finally it should be a cupcake game, right? And like you kind of said, you just take the normal spread. I wasn't going 11.5. I don't like that number. I was either going -114 for +120 or paying extra juice and getting -9.5. The one sort of validation that I have for buying down to go to 9.5 is the fact that, yes, this should be a cupcake game, but we can't ignore that they did go through that gauntlet. Like, this could be an 80% Eagles team, you know what I mean? That's playing a Giants team that 80% should be able to win by 10 points. Winning by 2 touchdowns, the Eagles haven't been doing that against anybody. They've had one of the hardest schedules as of late, but I think I got some plus money in the pocket ready to spend, so I'm not afraid of that. But I wanted more of a counter to your round one, if that makes sense. All right, so round one, you have 49ers -5, correct? And I got Eagles -9.5. I'm leading off this round. We're going to pop the wheel back up on the screen. And I don't really, not for the reasons that you always say, like, oh, the world's your oyster in terms of what you like, what you don't like. I don't really have a preference here. I don't really love unders this week. So there's only a couple under slices here, but God forbid we get anything other than that, obviously.
God forbid. By the way, guys, apologies. We are having some behind the scenes technical issues here. If the video seems a little like we keep kind of chopping it in and out, I have like been kicked out of the show like 4 times already during this recording, so it's been a little.
I'm kicking him out.
I don't know what that means for my luck this week. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing that the wheel gods keep telling me to leave.
Bad.
Leave the
I
studio.
had the flow of the morning recordings, and here we are early in the morning. It's not peaceful. But all right, we have an over, Tasos. That is not exactly what I want, but like I said, it's not. It wasn't my my naughty list, I guess, if that makes sense. So in terms of a total here, I do envision. I feel like it's just going to be a dumb spot, but I don't necessarily see a world in which I'm going to bet on this team again, aren't I? I don't envision a world in which there is few points scored in the Minnesota and Detroit game. Now, I know you're going to make a face and you're going to be like,
punishment. You just love betting these Vikings over.
I don't know why I bet this, but that Vikings game, like last week's game against Cincinnati, kind of makes me feel a little bit more reassured. Maybe they got some sort of offensive flow. Maybe we know that this Detroit team can put up points. I'm gonna go with the over here in this spot right now. The best line that I have is 47. Is that what you see?
Yeah, 47.
All right, I'm gonna go with the over there again. Like I say it almost reluctantly, but I've said it all along. I think that this Minnesota defense is starting to get to a point where it's like we're giving them credit for stuff that hasn't really been like they're doing. Like they've had a few games in a row of not many points allowed and that type of thing, but that was the Bears and then the Raiders. This Detroit team, look at this offense that Minnesota has seen in their last few games. More like their last 6 games. Atlanta, New Orleans, Denver, Chicago, Las Vegas, then Cincinnati. Cincinnati puts 27 on them. Detroit should be the most dynamic offense that they've seen through that stretch. So as long as they can give, which is probably going to be your counter, that can they give that many points? As long as they can give, 14 to 17 points, I think that this is going to be in a good spot. I'm not saying Detroit goes out there and actually drops 30, but I do think that this could be an up-tempo game. And Tasos, the spread's only 3, so it's not like they think this is going to be a blowout, a one-sided affair. I'll take the over 47.
This is a morning recording. Just the vibes are more positive. Even though I know I crapped
If
out, I said
guys,
they're
if this was 12 hours from now, Tasso would be ripping my throat out.
I can't hate the pick. The Lions offense, they put up points. The Lions defense not that great, so I do think like Minnesota, they could score some points here. I talked about it on my parlay video the other day, and I hit one of the parlays actually in this game. With the Vikings Bengals game was that Minnesota, like they're like part of it was like you said, like they had a weak competition. They were playing like these weaker teams offensively. That's part of it. But the other thing with their defense is that it's a very like gamble. Like their whole defense is very like gimmicky. It's a lot of blitzing. And yeah, when it works, and you hit home. The problem with it is that it does leave you open to some big plays. And I said it, and it ended up happening in the Cincinnati game. Like, that defense, it works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't work, you're giving up these big plays, and that's how Cincinnati came back. I mean, Minnesota had that game, and the Bengals came all the way back, went in overtime. And a lot of it's how that defense is built. Like, yeah, if you can get home and you get to the quarterback, yeah, it works. It's awesome. But, like, there's a reason why teams don't blitz, like, 60 to 70% of of the time is, like, it's a gamble. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't get there, then you're leaving yourself open to some big plays, and that's what happened. And I think against this Lions team, if they stick with that same defensive strategy, I think the Lions are the kind of team that will absolutely take advantage of it. That's not to say the Vikings don't have a good defense. It's just I think Detroit offensively, they have the firepower to go. And the last time they played, which was only a couple weeks ago, they haven't played this year. My bad. That was last year. December 11th, 2022, it was a 34-23 game. Now, again, that was the Kirk Cousins Vikings, so not the same kind of team, but the Lions put up 34 points on this team. I mean, and then the last time before that, 28-24, 29-27. So, like, these games between these two teams, the last three meetings have been high scoring. So, I think we could probably see, and I think Detroit will do most of the heavy lifting here. I think the Lions will probably score in the ballpark of like 27 points. 30 points, and then at that point you just need Minnesota to chip in, 20 or 21 points, which I think is very reasonable against this Lions defense, which has also not been very good.
This the only thing, and like I said, where I reluctantly say it is, you said you're a glutton for punishment. Like this is as much as this points to an over, and again, like the numbers are there. It's a close spread game. The total is kind of mediocre. You know what I mean? Like this looks for all intents and purposes, looks like a game that should at least be that 27-24 type of a spot via, Vegas's prediction. But it's Minnesota, and the Lions have also had a couple like off, like what do you do in games and that type of thing. But I will say at least those Lions games have been like I think my mind goes right to when they played Baltimore and they scored 6 points. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, that's bad. But Baltimore's a different defense. So, yeah, over 47 in this spot. What do you got?
Yeah, again, looking at a lot of options here.
And it wasn't over, right? Yeah, it wasn't a
total. It wasn't over. Yeah, it wasn't just a total.
Okay,
it wasn't over.
Good. I followed the rules either way.
This is tough. There's a lot of overs that interest me, but there's a lot of tricky spots here. I guess I'll go with this one. Just because the line seems a little low to me. Give me the Bucks Jaguars over. I got it at 43.5 right now on FanDuel, minus 105. The Bucks offense with Baker Mayfield, and if you listen to any of my shows, even on here I've said it. I've never been a big Baker guy, but man, has he been balling out lately for them. Offensively, they have been playing fantastic. I mean, that game. Who did they just play this past week? I had the over in that
Green Bay. Green Bay, he had a perfect
I had the over
rating
in that game.
Like what? Baker Mayfield, perfect passer rating are two things that I don't know if they were ever in the same sentence together.
Also, I do owe you an apology because I know we talked about it last week, but a few weeks ago I told you how the Packers defense was actually like, hey, it's pretty good. It's sneaky good. It's not. It's not.
It's not even sneaky like bad. It might just be.
Their defensive coordinator needs to go, but and I'll be firing him personally this week.
As an owner.
Tampa Bay, their last couple games, 34 points, 29 points, 21 points, 20 points. Their last game they finished under 20 points was against the Niners, and it's like, okay, they put up 2 touchdowns against the best defense in the NFL. You can debate if they're the best, but let's be honest, they're up there. This team cashes overs. They've hit each of the last 4 games, they've cashed the over, and the number has been around this spot, like 44.5, 37, 41.5, 42.5. So like it's been in the ballpark of this number, and they've cashed it. On Jacksonville's side, now offensively they haven't been as impressive, but their defense is really bad. So I can see Tampa Bay putting up a lot. I almost actually took Tampa Bay's team total here in this game. I ended up opting for the overall total because I do think the Bucs defense isn't really much to write home about either. And I think for Jacksonville coming off that horrible Ravens loss, I do think this is kind of a get right spot for them. It's not an easy team to get right against. The Bucs are trending up, but I do think that
what they were doing beforehand is offensive, not excellence, but they were putting up plenty of points.
I mean, when you look at before the Ravens game, I mean, looking at all the point totals, the Jaguars 27 points, 31 points, 24 points, 34 points. Like they were scoring.
Exactly.
And Baltimore does have a good defense. They had some miss. Like the Jaguars should have scored more. They missed like 2 field goals. They had a lot of horrible decision making in the Ravens area. But I see points being scored. I think 43.5 is actually kind of a low line here for this game, so I'll take that over.
Yeah, I definitely. It's so funny how much nicer we are to each other in the morning.
A lot nicer.
I don't hate this at all because I think that this is a case of at the very beginning of the year, Baker Mayfield was kind of balling out, and you know what I mean? He was playing really well. Then he slowed down, and Rashad White, so the run game started to pick up, and he started to play well. Now, as you're nearing the end of the season, now I'm not saying that they're collectively coming together and this like incredible team or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but I do think that they are a tougher team to slow down offensively than they were probably, say, 6 weeks ago, because again they kind of flip-flopped pass team to run game, and now both their run game and their pass offense, say it ain't so, but it's like clicking, you know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying they rattle off, and I think they're still in the playoff. They're still in the playoff hunt, right? So
I think they're first in division. I think they have the NFC South right now.
Yeah, South, right? Yeah, you're right. So there you go. But I don't think that they rattle this off and piece it together to win a Super Bowl. No one's saying that, but I think that they're going to be a tough team to slow down in terms of points. And the Bucs defense was good, and then they've kind of started to not really, like they gamble on defense, giving teams decent field position. Like this is a recipe for points, and it's kind of like I'd be a fraud if I said that I don't like the spot, because I like the fact that the spread is really close as well, telling you that this should be somewhat of a back and forth game. So which is an argument I used for my pick, right? So I don't hate this spot at all. I just hope for your sake, I guess I hope it happens for my sake, but that we don't see just like a dud game out of Jacksonville, which we've seen a couple times, because sometimes their offense literally looks like a paraplegic or something. I'm talking single digits, and I don't know if Tampa Bay is that good to go and drop 30 plus points again, type of thing. So we shall see. But yeah, I can't knock the pick. I mean, you're kind of the hot hand right now. I don't think the books have caught up to what they're doing. So I think it's a good spot. I think there's some value there.
I thought you were about to say the books haven't caught up to like my picks, and I'm like, oh, that's quite a compliment. the books are looking at me.
Hey, they haven't. They haven't. Guys, we would post this episode way earlier, but we don't want the lines to get bumped because of Tasos' predictions.
Yeah,
so
I got
we posted on Thursdays.
The market lives or dies by my picks.
But all right, so we are 2 picks in. You are now starting off this next round. This is round number 3. Damn, I'm so much sharper in the morning.
Yeah, you are. I see why you are.
I could rattle this off backwards.
I see it.
Yeah. But all right, let's spin this. We did just hit that over, so I want to remove that over.
I told you it's because we in the nighttime you drink beer on the show. In the morning you're drinking coffee. So you're wired in. You're focused. At nighttime you're kind of after a day of work you're kind of relaxed a little bit, drinking a beer, and your mind wanders a little bit.
Yep, I think that's what it is. All right, let's spin it. This could go anywhere. I don't. Right up my alley.
Plus money play.
Let's go. I like that. I like that. All right, we'll remove that.
I don't know why I'm celebrating.
And I like that you're going
plus
first.
Money plays, but
yeah, but it's exciting. It's exciting.
It's just an exciting thing.
It's exciting to happen.
And damn, you know what? The couple plays that I'll take this one. It's not a huge plus money play, but there's a couple games that like they should be plus money, but they're almost even. There's a couple money lines where I'm like, they're both even money lines, but like, anyways. Give me the Dallas Cowboys plus 100. It probably won't be plus money by the time Sunday afternoon comes around. Why?
Yep.
Why is Dallas? I understand they got smoked last week by Buffalo, but like, why are they an underdog here? Why? It's kind of my same thing with the Ravens. Like, have people not watched Miami this year? Like, I get it. You know, they just blew out the Jets 30-0, but like the 3 times that Miami this year, they've only had 3 games against teams with a winning record. Like, they have had the softest schedule. Those 3 games, Kansas City, Buffalo, and there was one more. What was the other one? Philadelphia.
The Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 times this season they played teams with a winning record or better, and all 3 times they lost by a touchdown or more. So, and I mean, in the case of the Eagles and the Bills game, they lost by 28 to Buffalo. They lost by 14 to Philadelphia. There was some questionable referee play in that Eagles game, but regardless, they haven't. And then that Titans loss on Monday night 2 weeks ago. Oh my God, what a horrific loss. There's a lot with this Dolphins team, and I know they're fun to watch. Their offense, Mike McDaniel. I've been watching the midseason Hard Knocks thing with them. They're a likable team. They really are. But they are fraudulent. I am not afraid to say that until proven otherwise. And if you watch Play Action Takes this week, me and Spencer actually have a pretty heated argument because he's a diehard Dolphins fan. We had a pretty heated argument over this game. Until kind of like the Cowboys, until you prove me wrong, I will keep betting the trend. And the trend is that, and this is not just this year. This is the last couple of years with this Dolphins team. When they play good teams, they crumble and they fold. And this is the kind of game, you know, Tua in particular, he does not do well under pressure. The Cowboys pass rush with Micah Parsons against a banged-up Dolphins offensive line, they are going to feast on this team. You're not going to be able to just one-play drive, chuck it down the field against this Cowboy team and hope to succeed. You know what I mean? And they got a lot of
Tyreek Hill's questionable. Yeah, like that's
and even if
massive thing for them.
He's banged up. Like I know it's on the road, and I know Dallas. Everybody has sold their Cowboy stock after that Bills loss. But here's the thing: betting trends. This is the Dallas Cowboys playbook to a T. They've already done this exact same thing this year, right?
Yep.
They got blown up by the Niners. Everybody was low on them, and then you picked them a couple times against some better teams, like against Seattle, against Philadelphia, and they win. They lost to Buffalo in embarrassing fashion. Everybody's selling their stock. This is when you buy about half the stock back. This is when you start buying it back. Yeah. They're going to win this game, and they're going to win it convincingly. And all of a sudden, Cowboys fans around the world are going to ask the question, are we back? Like this is just what happens with the Cowboys. They rip your soul out, rip your heart out, and then right when you think it's like, it's Godfather, right? When it's like, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Like
pull me back in. Yeah,
that's the Cowboys. Like every time you think that you're done with them, they win a game like against Miami on Sunday afternoon, on Christmas Eve, and all of a sudden you're like, is this team a Super Bowl team? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I just, like I said, with Miami, I don't have all the numbers in front of me to give you why, but like, if you watch the Dolphins, and again, my best friend is a Dolphins fan. I've watched way too many Dolphins games over the last few years to know, like, this is the trend. This is what happens with Miami. Like, they play these better teams. I don't care if it's at home or whatever. This is what happens. So it's only plus 100. It's not a major plus money play, but the fact that they're even plus money to me is shocking. Give me Dallas plus 100. Dak Prescott has been like the MVP frontrunner for the last like few weeks, and it's like now everyone's just forgotten that because he had one bad game.
Right. That was I will say like a bad, like that was a bad game, but Dallas, like if you're gonna beat Dallas, it's like you kind of out tough them, trench them in a sense. Miami's not that type of team. Like Miami is the type of team that if they don't hit a couple long balls, they could turtle, right?
Yeah.
So I think that at least it's worth the value they are taking in one of the best teams in the league, one of the best defenses. You know, some people still are naysayers about that, but plus 100, I don't hate it whatsoever. My plus money play, and I'm actually very surprised, and this is kind of a plus expected value here because most books have this at plus 100. ESPN bet has this at plus 115. Josh Allen anytime touchdown. So he's not a passing touchdown, but a rushing touchdown, which the dude has, like, he is their running back in the red zone. He's had a rushing touchdown in 10 of his last 14. He's had in his last 3 games, he has 4 touchdowns. And this number is like shocking to me. He rushes their red zone rush breakout. He rushes 33% of the time in the red zone.
Yeah.
That and they don't do the tush push like the Eagles do as much. Like these are legit like designed runs.
He's legit
or
scrambling,
sneaks.
rolling out.
Actually I shouldn't say they're designed runs. They're just scrambles. I can't pass up the value of plus 115 here. Again, it's plus 100 on most other sports books. I would take it at plus 100 too. Like I think that's kind of shocking. I think that because he's a quarterback, his anytime touchdown line is in the plus money versus if he was a running back with this touchdown rate, we'd be looking at minus 145 but because he's a quarterback, sports books aren't really giving him that credit, but this dude's running the ball like a running back in the red zone. So plus 115, Josh Allen, anytime touchdown. Again, that's rushing or receiving. That's not a passing touchdown for him. I want to clarify for anyone watching.
Yeah. I guess
what are your thoughts there? Oh, also, Chargers allowing, I think they allow the 10th most touchdowns or something, top third of the league in terms of touchdowns to quarterbacks, but I don't think it really matters. Like he'll scramble out 10 times in the red zone this game, and I don't think they're going to have a problem being in the red zone in this game either.
Yeah, I agree. They are giving him about 0.3 rushing touchdowns a game, which I know to quarterbacks, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but that is top half of the league. And rushing touchdowns allowed to quarterbacks. And that's also, like, Staley's gone. Now, that's the only thing that's risky here, is that the game after a coach gets fired, usually the team gets fired up a little bit. But, however, I mean, Bosa's out, Herbert's out. Like, this team is banged up really badly. They just fired their coach. They just fired the GM. Big changes are coming. Maybe Bill Belichick. Who knows? I think this Chargers team is probably done. Like at this point, like you're not trying to win. You're just, I think from the organization standpoint, they want to lose out at this point. I think that the Bills will probably win and run away with it. But again, those first game after coach gets fired with that interim coach, you never know. But I don't think that really has much to apply to Allen. I think again, it just because of how the Bills are, like if they get in the red zone, and they can't, get open, he's going to scramble and take it himself. He's Superman. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a lot of I'm going to do it myself kind of mentality from him, and that leads to touchdowns. So I don't hate the pick.
Yeah, I mean, this could be like the Bills could score 2 touchdowns, right, and get smoked in this game, but odds are he's going to have a chance at one of those 2. That's just how much he is used in this offense. So, plus 115 again. That's just value there, and in getting the best number too. So, I think both of those are like worth taking the pull on. You know what I mean? Like I think that Dallas over Miami, like could Miami go out there and smoke them? Sure, they're the most explosive offense, but are you really going to pass up Dallas for plus money? No matter who they're playing. And same thing with Josh Allen. It's like, yes, he's a quarterback. He might not run for a touchdown, but are you going to pass up a guy that just cashing this left and right for plus money? No. So, all right, look at us just being best friends in the morning.
Like I said, morning vibes. I don't know if it's good for the show. I don't know what people like. Maybe they like.
Yeah, people like, dude, can we not? Hey, I mean, we had our highest viewed episode last week.
Yeah, we were very nice to each other. So I guess the lesson to be learned here is that being nice, loving your neighbor is the way. It's the way to go about it.
We'd be at 1 million subscribers by now if we were just nice to each other.
Nice to each other all season long.
We haven't been playing the game, but all right, let's go ahead and jump in. We got Fade Me now, guys. If you don't know how Fade Me works, I'll say this, Tasos, I don't have anything prepared for Fade Me, so I hope this lands on you. God forbid it does. But if you don't know how Fade Me works,
like 6 weeks.
It's got to be you then. God forbid it is. But we're going to spin the wheel just like we did at the beginning of the show. It's going to land on either Tasos or myself. Whoever it lands on gets to make one pick, and then the other person has to fade that pick and take the opposite side. This has been an electric sort of defining round this season, which makes sense because if you win, it's an auto loss for the other person. So I truly, you know what? Things have been going my way. I truly hope that this lands on Tasos, and I don't need to reverse jinx it. Because I don't have the biggest of Fade Me bank here in terms of plays that I love. So let's spin it. Fingers crossed.
I'm trying to decide what I want to do if it lands on me.
Sit down. Okay. Pressure is on you. Bright lights coming to Tasso.
See, the thing is, Ev, I don't struggle under these bright lights. All right, your record on Fade Me. I know you've had it like 5 weeks in a row, but I think you're like 1-4. I think last week was like the first time you did it.
The beginning of the year, like the first 8 weeks of the year, we were just like whoever got it was winning. Whoever got it was winning.
Well, you know what happened was
then I gave you plus 350s.
My team. You kept taking Packers, yeah, and it just came back to bite you in the ass every week.
So I'm glad I don't have it. I'm glad I don't have it this week. I'm excited to see what you got because I don't think you say I can't handle the lights. I don't think I could handle the 6 weeks straight of the lights. That's what it is. At first it was okay, and then I'm like, dude, I'm going crazy.
It is tough. Like this is, especially because a lot of the picks that I liked are I've already used, like the Cowboys, the Niners, like the over, and like I've already used the picks that I like loved coming into this. Which I mean, I can't complain. I got everything I wanted. Right? It was a perfect Christmas. By the way, this is our Christmas episode. Kind of crazy to think about at the end of the show. We just thought of it, but it's our Christmas episode. It's an ugly game. I really don't want the people to have to be subjected to this because we've had so many great games already in this slate compared to the last couple weeks.
Very true.
I'm going to take Colts money line minus 105 against the Atlanta Falcons. The only reason this scares me is I don't understand why the Colts are minus 105. I don't know.
Yep.
I know it says Jonathan Taylor's out or potentially out or he's questionable.
He's been out.
But he's been out. It's confusing to me, and that's what's alarming. Is like why? Why are the Falcons
Michael Pittman Jr. probably because he got. Did you see that hit?
Yeah, he got smoked. But he's not on the injury.
But I think he's questionable. I think I saw that on Twitter. But to be completely honest, if I were to agree with you, very rarely do you see a wide receiver impact. Like he plays, this doesn't jump to them being minus 170. Do you know what I mean? So
because they still have Josh
might be a little
Downs,
something else
they
there.
still have Alec Pierce. Like they still have a couple guys, and Gardner's been great. I just don't. Like the Falcons' defense is pretty good, so I understand. Like that's probably the lead. They did bench Desmond Ridder. They have Taylor Heineke this week. Mm-hmm. I saw this, and maybe I'm dumb, and maybe it's like kind of not to take a shot at you. Maybe it's like last week where like you didn't know that Stroud wasn't playing. It's so like I don't like I honestly like before the show like I looked at this game and I'm like, the Colts are like an underdog. I know it's on the road and the Falcons defense, but like the Colts are 8-6. Like they've been on a hot streak. I don't get it. Maybe I'm done. Actually, as I'm looking at this, the line just dropped again to minus 102 now on FanDuel you can get. So actually, I don't know if that's allowed to switch that. I'll take the minus 102. I'll take the little extra value there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something that I'm not seeing that I'm missing here, but maybe it's a trap. I don't care. I'll take it, especially because like the Falcons right now are minus 115. So like, if I lose this fade me, it's not like you're getting a plus money dog or. You know, a big. It's like you're getting a win. You know what I mean? It's not anything special or crazy.
Can't knock it because what I will say is that you're putting me in position to root for a team that is I'm not excited for at all. You know what I mean? Yep. So that usually should be a little like toe in the water test of did you have a good fade me pick in a sense? You know what I mean? And clearly did. All right, we've been having tech problems literally all morning. The way we record is like popping Tasos out, popping me out. So yes, we have the fade me round. I got the Falcons. Tasso, you got the Colts here. But we can just jump to concluding the show because it's probably gonna be like a nightmare to edit now too. I'm like, is this the piece that goes here? But maybe I can edit it to make it look like all my picks win. I don't know. But guys, thank you very much. Like I know I said at the beginning of the show, and I know I can confidently speak for Tassos here too. It's like. Thank you for the growth of the show, growth of the channel. Like, we put in a lot of work here. That's no secret. Tasso, I could say this too. I won't say any other channel names, but I have like a service that runs competitor analysis. It determines what your competitors are and then looks at video output and growth. The Guy Boston channel is putting out so many more videos than any other competitor, and it's great because we just like kind of love to do it and kind of shows that hard work pays off. So not to get all sappy here, but it is our Christmas episode. I will say like we can be transparent and say that we grind our asses off and you guys make it worth it. You know what I mean? It's kind of a cliche thing to say, but truly is. So thank you guys very much for watching, hitting that subscribe button, sharing, liking, commenting, all of that. Did I miss anything that you got to say?
Even the guppies, we appreciate you too. No matter what, you guys are still giving us views.
Gotta
you guys
love
are
the
still
guppies.
giving us the interaction. You're helping the algorithm. So, as much as sometimes, and I'll be honest, like, you see some comments and like it'll bring you down a little bit sometimes, but it's like, what, even those people, at the end of the day, they help. And then you also, then you see our own fans, they come up and they kind of defend us. So, even the guppies we appreciate to an extent. Yeah, I wish this is what happens in the morning. I'm not my sharpest. I wish I had like I had a Santa outfit. Could have wore that during the show. Didn't do that. That's all right. Missed opportunity. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like this. We talked about this on the Thanksgiving episode. Like, I'm very appreciative that I've been able to join this community, and I think I've noticed it myself in my own videos. I talked to Ev about this the other day. Like, on my own videos, I've noticed that like more and more the views are going up, the interactions getting up. More and more people are like, commenting, "Oh yeah, like I love these videos. I love watching your stuff." I had one
100%,
guy
yeah.
even ask me like, "Oh, do you have your own channel and stuff like that?" And it's like, so it's been nice. Like I think the people have finally started to kind of get comfortable with me, kind of as the second guy here. So, and I can't be more thankful to Ev and for giving me the platform to do this. And yeah, I mean, I love making videos. I love doing all this stuff, even though I
Yeah.
haven't hit an NBA parlay in what feels like a month. I love doing those videos. I love making everything for this channel. So yeah, and being thankful in the holiday season, I'm very thankful for Ev and for Guy Boston Sports. Even though Ev, actually, no, I'm especially thankful for Ev because of all the wins he's given me this year on H2H. It's been very nice.
Of course. But yeah, we do mean that, and we're not stopping anytime soon. So if you're watching this being like, oh, they're really thankful, it's like, yeah, we're thankful for where we are, but we're still skyrocketing. We're not going to stop grinding. 2024 is going to be massive. I'm sure we'll have some big things drop. So yeah, just wanted to say that, guys, to conclude the episode. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right?
Have a Merry Christmas.